After a long 3-week break, we are finally back with a new chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. The leaks for chapter 248 have finally dropped, and in case you missed it, I'll be covering it in this video. Spoiler warning for anyone not caught up. When we last left off, Higuruma tried to attack Sukuna with his sword, but all attempts at killing him ultimately failed because Sukuna was always one step ahead of him, before finally he threw his sword to Yuji in a last-ditch effort to beat Sukuna. The chapter starts where chapter 247 ended, with Yuji about to stab Sukuna with Higuruma's executioner's blade. However, the blade breaks before it could do damage, leaving Yuji to figure out his next plan of attack. Not really a surprise for anyone. Most people, me included, had a feeling that Yuji wouldn't be able to damage Sukuna. He's had a long streak of things just being in his favor. We next see Yuji get sent flying backwards after an attack from Sukuna, ending it off by slashing him. Adding to the list of dead characters, we get confirmation that Higuruma is dead after Sukuna thinks to himself that Higuruma took the Kamutome with him as his life ended. Next page, we see Ui and Kurara use a teleportation curse technique to retrieve the wounded from the battlefield, also confirming that they took Gojo's dead body. Sukuna realizes that the wounded are being brought back to be treated by Shoko, but as it turns out, reverse curse technique is usually at half efficiency using it on others compared to using it on yourself. We get some new information on Yuji as it's revealed he learned the reverse curse technique in just 1 month. Seeing Yuji's improvement, Sukuna thinks he's gonna have some more fun, yet he feels annoyed. Sukuna then begins to think deeply, thinking maybe he's disappointed that Higuruma died. He rejects the idea, saying he never thought about being satisfied by others and that playing with others' lives is the best way to kill time before he himself dies. He never thought about his own ideals, and for other Jujutsu sorcerers, their ideals were probably to kill him. Sukuna still wonders why he's upset about people trying to achieve their ideals, knowing he's seen people do similar 1,000 years ago. Sukuna then comes to a realization that his strong feelings are all because of Yuji, because no matter how many times he could break Yuji's soul, he just kept coming back. Understanding now that even a weakling can stand up to him if they have a strong will and stick to their ideals, which Sukuna finds severely irritating. He declares that he will, no matter what, slice up Yuji's ideals. To everyone's surprise, a shining light appears as well as Kogane to announce a new rule, which is that Megami Fushiguro now holds the authority to activate the merger between Tengen and humanity. Kusakabe thinks that Yuta's ambush on Kenjaku was successful, which led to the activation of his backup plan. This is in reference to chapter 243, in which Takaba had completed his objective of lowering Kenjaku's guard in order for Yuta to approach him undetected and kill him, only for Kenjaku to basically say it's not over just yet. Kusakabe thought Sukuna was better than Kenjaku in the sense that Sukuna wouldn't commit cursed terrorism out of curiosity. Sukuna lays out his next plan, saying he'll kill Yuji first, then all the other Culling Game players, and he might even fight whatever comes out of the merger with Tengen. Suddenly, Yuta joins the battlefield and immediately attacks Sukuna, which he replies by saying that if Yuta doesn't kill him, all the people he cares about will die. We end off with Rika emerging and slamming Sukuna down, asking who he thinks he's talking to, and Sukuna replies, "So this is the queen." That was definitely a great chapter to read after a long break, but there's a lot to unpack. Firstly, like I said earlier, Sukuna had a streak of avoiding death since he killed Gojo, and has been catching bodies ever since his new transformation. Higuruma is dead, and I had a feeling that was going to happen. Despite learning reverse curse technique, the entire fight between him and Sukuna was never in his favor. Even though his talent rivals that of Gojo himself, he still lacked the combat and sorcery experience that inevitably led to the loss of his life. Still no word on how the fight between Hakari and Urame is going, but knowing Gege will probably come back to that at some point. For those still hoping for a Gojo comeback, unironically, I wouldn't hold your breath because I have major doubts that anything involving his resurrection will happen. We see a huge improvement for Yuji, having shown off his reverse curse technique, but still not knowing what his curse technique actually is just yet is interesting, but we'll just have to wait and see. Megami being brought up helps, even though it's probably because Sukuna isn't inhabiting his body currently, but I'm hoping there's still a way to save Megami, or at the very least remove Sukuna from his body. It's still up for debate whether or not Kenjaku is really dead. I find that unlikely because I doubt him being decapitated would be the end of his 1,000-year-old plans, but who knows. We get a lot of insight on Sukuna and his feelings and ideals, mostly because he spends a majority of the chapter just thinking to himself, but he sets his sights on Yuji, and after the break we'll get to see Yuta versus Sukuna, unless Gege decides to cut it to a different fight. Regardless, I'm excited for the next chapter after the break and really want to see where this goes. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this recent chapter. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.